What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday? Feels like a Tuesday, but is in fact a Wednesday. So we're one day closer to the weekend. Yet again, going to have interesting Titans conversation, one that I was not expecting to have, really, for a while. But Treylon Burks is making us talk about him again. So what does this mean? This is Ryan Roberts' first Treylon Burks season of his young career with A to Z. So I know we're going to have a good conversation because, yes, Treylon Burks makes a surprise appearance at Titans OTAs yesterday, and they're back on the practice field again today. The media was not at practice on Tuesday and will be at practice today. So, as Bustin' Diamond says, Burks season 3.0. That's what this is, because his rookie summer was year zero. It was like, when a coach has a really bad first year, they're like, nope, that was year zero. Treylon Burks had a year zero type rookie summer. This is going into year 4. Burks season 3.0 is alive and going. I don't know if it's going well, but it's alive. And we didn't think it was going to be alive. I think that's the reasoning for today's show. So we'll talk about Treylon Burks and his surprise. Does that move the needle at all for us in what we think about his chances to make the roster? Because it has been very much a different conversation about Treylon Burks for this entire offseason. And then we'll talk overall a bigger picture. Which Titans player do you think will be the biggest OTA smokescreen? Maybe it's not Treylon Burks. And then it's trivia day. We might not have time for trivia, Ryan. I just throw that out there. I'm expecting some people to show up at the house, hopefully after the show, but you never know. So we'll see what happens with trivia. If we suck at trivia again, we'll find out if we have time. But welcome in. Gonna have a good show. I'll get something else to tease after the official open here. But Ryan, welcome in. Let's get this thing rolling.
I appreciate it, man. I hope we do have some time for trivia because I'm feeling redemption is on my mind this morning. Ooh. So like redemption is on Treylon Burks' mind potentially. Maybe. I don't know. But before we get into it, folks, make sure that you are sharing the show. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that share button in the bottom right-hand corner and get it out on your feed. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure send that YouTube link. Send it to everyone in your life, friends, group chats, everybody. Just find that Titans fan that you know and let them know that A to Z Sports is live and talking Treylon Burks, potential smoke screens heading into OTA season. You can also repost us on Twitter or X to help spread the word. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and leave a like on the show before we get going here on a wonderful Wednesday morning.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports here on a Wednesday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Ryan Roberts of A to Z Sports Film Room. If you have not subscribed to the A to Z Sports Film Room channel, you should on YouTube because they do great work over there, Ryan and Joe and others, as we continue to grow that brand. But we're Nashville's on-demand sports.network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, and Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They're local in the Nashville area and also online at bartondrury.com. So, yes, potential to be an abbreviated show today because I do have had some scheduled people to come help at the house this morning, get a little cleaning done this morning. And so I was not supposed to be on the show, Ryan. Yes. I was supposed to have this morning off for said cleaning. But Easton had to step away on a secret mission this morning. Early, Easton is on a secret mission, and he will have an article about that secret mission shortly after the show today. We'll find out. I don't know. I mean, Ryan, you know what the secret mission is, so no spoiling cool. What the secret mission is. It is a cool secret mission. It is not just some BS secret mission where Easton had to go run an errand or anything. No, it's like a legitimate secret mission, and he will have an article about it. Hopefully before around 10 a.m. Or so. That's the game plan. So he had to step away and go take care of that secret mission. So I'm here talking about Treylon Burks and hopefully doing some trivia at the end of the show. And I don't think anybody really expected. And people, if you want to guess what you think Easton's secret mission is, then go all by all means, shoot, because you're not going to guess it, which I think is going to be fun. So, Treylon Burks has been a conversation about his irrelevancy this offseason, right? Like every time we've talked about him on this show, it has been he's going to be in the PUP list. He's a guaranteed physically unable to perform candidate. He is not going to be a factor. Brian Callahan said at the technically like the March owners meetings back in Palm Beach that he doesn't expect Treylon Burks to be ready for training camp. Treylon Burks, remember, partially tore his ACL during a practice in the middle of October this past season. They thought he may be able to play through some of that. They ended up delaying the surgery to shut him down until early November. And so was not expecting him to be ready. And we know this is going into a do or die offseason for Treylon Burks, who has no fifth-year option. He's also going into the last year of his contract. He has done nothing but count up 699 receiving yards. Or was it last week, Ryan? I made my bold prediction that he would have less than 1,000 career receiving yards, 301 away. And here we are on day one of phase 3 of Titans offseason team activities. Treylon Burks is like running a route in a drill, wearing a jersey and a helmet, like catching a pass. Now, this is the same thing. I looped it 3 times, but I don't like Treylon Burks is making us talk about him because nobody expected him to be able to be doing that or be out there doing anything at this point. But here we are, and here he is. He's the cockroach who not going to go away. He might hide under the couch for many, many months, but he's still there.
Yeah, and he's clearly been working on the gains in this video. The routes was not the best, even though I think it's just a speed cut, but it's he's there, man. He's absolutely there. It's going to be very interesting because although he has not been productive, although he's not being counted on, and I know that like you and Easton, and I mean, I'm included in this club. Like, we don't have high expectations for Treylon Burks in 2025, no matter where he ends up playing. But he is still in a situation, Austin, that like there is opportunity, right? Like that's the thing that makes it so tricky with the Titans, is that it's not like he's a former first round pick and he's been like just up and replaced by a couple high round picks and another, all pro. Like, it's still a very unsettled room, which is why people keep talking about it ultimately. Right. So I don't think that I have great expectations for him to, I mean, maybe he makes the team. I don't know, but we'll get more into that obviously, but like, I don't think that he's going to be an impact player in 2025, obviously, but first and foremost though, just for like the mental health side of things for him and getting back, like it's good to see him on a football field. I just don't know what the expectation should even be like from a starting point.
Yeah. So I'm going to play the 15 seconds again, the 3 times over, the 3-time looped route. And I'm glad you brought it up because speed cut, he's cutting off of his inside foot, which is just not the most efficient way to move. But, I don't know what he's being coached. We don't know what the drill is. It looks funny. But you talk about the gains. Treylon Burks has always been a big dude, right? And it's not been – he's not like ripped. He's not physically just like cut or lean. He's just a very big guy with a lot of mass, muscle and otherwise. And so – I don't really know what to expect. James says Burks needs to lose 25 pounds. Well, J.C. Latham's been doing that. I don't think he has 25 pounds to lose, Treylon Burks. But, trim, tighten. Like, what's the movie? Just tighten. The old Knocked Up.
Knocked Up. Oh, great movie.
Tighten, right? Like, that's just tighten. Like, just tighten a little bit. Don't just tighten, not lose, just tighten. Yes, he needs all of that. Like, Treylon Burks needs to be a better athlete because he keeps getting hurt, Ryan. Yes. And it's all types of injuries. It's soft tissue. It's legitimate ones like concussions. It's knee strains for lack of body control. It's a partially torn ACL. And he's also had the summer of his rookie after his draft pick where he was unable to stay on the field because of asthma or lack of being in shape or whatever. So I guess, Ryan, have I asked you your pre-draft thoughts on Burks or your evaluation
I don't
before?
think so. I don't think so. No. So recounting, I did not have a first round grade on Treylon Burks. I think I had a second round grade, if I remember correctly. Like he's always been a tricky player, and it's the injury stuff with him because he plays a very physical style of football, right? Like he was always, I mean, even at Arkansas, like he was an after catch guy, right? Like he was a big slot, physical dude that could win after the catch and could accelerate in the open field. Like that was his thing. So that's why it's been so troubling to see, because he was not a nuanced player coming out of Arkansas. It wasn't like he had like this expansive route tree and he was like this guy that could play X, Z, or inside of the slots and be all over the place. Like he was a very kind of role specific player. And unfortunately, that role, I think the body deterioration, for the lack of a better word, is very troubling for the role because, again, I'm not putting Treylon Burks on the outside to win as a route runner or to consistently separate vertically. Like his best role is short to intermediate, get the ball in his hand, run after the catch. Like that's always been the scouting report on Treylon Burks, and the fact that he doesn't bring that consistent level of physicality because his body keeps breaking down, like that's very unsettling, obviously, right? And here's a funny thing. Here's a funny thing is, like you said, he's always been a big wide receiver, but I mean, he's big right now, right? Like, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all, but like if you saw that video yesterday and you didn't know how tall he was, because he's like 6'2", right? But like if you didn't know how tall he was, what position do you think he plays? If you just saw him running around, like a H-back, maybe fullback, like he looks big right now, man. Looks very big.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it's interesting because you have a fresh perspective on Burks, because that's just, to me, that's what Treylon Burks looks like. Like
interesting.
So it's, but I do what you're saying. Like it's stocky. He's wearing like long sleeve and sweatpants, so maybe he is trying to continue to cut. It's cutting season for all of us out here. So I don't know. Maybe that I did. You speaking of something funny. Normally, we don't play practice videos with audio because they have a lot of rap music gets instantly flagged by Facebook. But I did think, because it's only 5 seconds and then we can get away with this, the irony of the music that was playing, because this video is via the Titans Instagram story, by the way. So credit to the Titans Instagram story. I kind of missed that at the very beginning. But the irony of the song playing is, I think, laugh out loud funny. I don't know if anybody has heard the song. I'm just going to play it with the music just to get everybody's organic reaction, because when I actually realized that this was the song playing and the point of the song that was playing during this 5 seconds, I could not stop laughing. It's just hooty. I only want to be you. It just, I was like, that could not be more perfect.
I had not heard the audio until then. I had just seen the video. So yes, that was my first time reaction to that. That is not a song, first and foremost, that I thought would be playing at a NFL practice. Like I did not think that would be an activity that would be happening there. So that's well, and that's why you're here today, man. Even though you had to pull the audible, like you only want to be here with Treylon. Like you just want to talk about him as much as possible until you can't talk about him anymore, which who knows how long that will last. We'll see.
Yep. So let's dive into a conversation here, because we've had a lot of talk about the Titans wide receiver room. So how does this Treylon Burks situation change it? Because this is the options when Easton and I were talking through the whole Gabe Davis idea of the conversation. We had 3 wide receiver room ideas. Room A is adding Gabe Davis and removing Van Jefferson. Room C is more kind of status quo, and room B is the youth movement. Now, all 3 of these rooms were built with the idea that Treylon Burks was going to be on PUP, physically unable to perform, at the beginning of the year. So you've got Ridley, Lockett that you feel good about. You've got the young draft picks in DK and Io Manor. You've got Bryce Oliver on all 3 lists, who the Titans like a lot, to maybe replace NWI as the wide receiver deep on the depth chart, but can also have a lot of value as a gutter on special teams and doing other things. Then you have the wild card of Xavier Restrepo and then James Prochet, who was signed to be a return specialist once John Bones Fossil got the special teams gig. So that's kind of what we were expecting the wide receiver room to look like. But now Treylon Burks is healthy-ish, right? We don't know what he's going to be doing, but he was doing more than we expected him on May 27th. So let's ask this question to the audience here. Does an early return to health change your opinion on Treylon Burks' ability to make the team? Does an early return to health change your opinion on Treylon Burks' ability to actually make this team? Just kind of went through the situation for the team. We'll get to your thoughts and opinions on that. It's a yes or no, but I think we all know there's way more than just yes or no. But does it change your ability of thinking that Burks has a chance to make this team because he's back from injury a little earlier? Let's get to all of your comments, but here in a second, I want to tell you about Barton Drury Insurance Group. BartonDrury.com is the website. They are a fantastic local insurance team to customize solutions for all of your insurance needs. They've been able to help out A to Z Sports as we continue to expand and grow our company. The Barton Drury Insurance team was the right fit that we're looking for to become our partners when it comes to health coverage that we can offer our employees. We also need workers' comp. Got that covered through the Barton Drury Group. Need anything for you guys, whether it's personal or business. They've got 401k planning, personal, auto, home, umbrella insurance. They can literally do it all. They're local to the Nashville area and super accessible for anybody trying to get in touch with them, build a connection, have somebody you can trust for your insurance policies, because they're very daunting, complicated, legalese type language that's really overwhelming. So making sure that you understand everything about your insurance policies, they're online at bartondrury.com.
Make sure, folks, if you're live with us on YouTube, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You can also do so on Twitch or on Facebook. Make sure to share the show. After the show, if you go to Google and give us a 5-star Google review, it will be very much appreciated. Continue to help not only the show grow, but A to Z Sports grow as well.
All right, so Treylon Burks has an early return to health. Does that change your opinion on his ability to make this Titans team? So, Ryan, I will send you to the chat. But just to kind of reset the situation, I don't think anybody expected Treylon Burks to be at OTA practice running drills, wide receiver drills, with the rest of the wide receivers in OTAs, because when Brian Callahan talked, I guess right around 2 months ago at the end of March, he said he did not expect Treylon Burks to be ready for training camp. We all assumed that meant the PUP for him and that he would be a non-factor. But here he is making himself a factor. What do you see in the chat? Does this change people's opinions on his ability to make the roster or not?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it seems like no is the popular answer, but let's work through it.
Okay.
Nick Ewing says nope, all caps. We have James that also said no. Malachi Perry said, can he play edge? Which I thought was a hilarious comment. We had an F no from Rocky Top 44. Mike Bell says no. Noah Leak says he was always on the right side of history, so I'm assuming that he was.
No, okay. Noah has a super chat, so we can go ahead and get you that. Because Noah is what he calls the last of the Treylon Burks defenders. Someone is showing he wants to fight for roster spot, almost like he has some dog in him, LOL. Not going to lie, that rep looked really awkward. The rep did look awkward, but Noah, again, Noah's been consistent, and he's been here. He is the last of the Treylon Burks defenders. Yes.
Love it. Love it. We had Darren Lee who says, no, I'd rather have the Titans go back to retired Adrian Peterson, sign him, move the wide receiver before seeing 16 on the field ever again. We have a not even remotely from Daniel. Our first yes comes from Ryan Gregg. Great first name, by the way, there. Darius Horton says, not really. We have a no, but it will improve the chances of being traded from Steven, which is an interesting comment there. We have a note from Guy Mann, a no from Mario Williams, former great defensive end for the Houston Texans there. Nope from Caleb, no from Colin. So yes, so I guess Noah said, yes, it does improve his chances. So just kind of adding on to that. No, cut him, says Cornelius. Not even close, says Andres. Excuse me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. No, not a chance from Travis Knight. Not really from Johnny. No from Paul. No, cut him, please, from Patricia. We had yes, if he can be healthy for the start of the season, they'll keep him, says Big Ten Jeff. No from Deborah. No from Maven. We also had a no, not really from Donald. Nope. No. So a whole lot of no's, and there was like one yes and one partial yes, I think, sprinkled in there.
Yeah. So I put up a YouTube poll. It's early on, but the quick returns and the just now posted are very heavy to no's. Malachi asked a good question. Can the Titans cut him, or does it cost too much? It doesn't matter. Like, Treylon Burks is going to get paid, and it's going to count against the Titans cap the same, whether he is playing with the Titans or not playing with the Titans, right? So this is literally up to do you have somebody else on the team worthy of the roster spot that Treylon Burks is potentially taking up? And that's how I view this. And do you want to give up on the first round talent, or you had a second round grade on him? I think going back, the Titans took Treylon Burks at 18th overall once they traded A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles and got the Eagles' 18th overall pick. I said during that draft process, I'd like Treylon Burks at the Titans' original pick of 26 to go with A.J. Brown. Like, that made sense, right? To be the 26th overall pick with A.J. Yeah, okay. Now you've got somebody in a similar style of straight line freight train type speed, build it up type speed that you can learn from him. But obviously nothing has materialized from any of that conversation.
I always hate, here's a pet peeve I have. We have a proven good player at a position. We don't want to pay him. And I'm not sure. And this is not just a Titans issue. This comes around the league a lot. We don't want to pay him. So we're going to get rid of him. And then our answer is to draft someone in the first round to replace him. That rarely ever works, man. Like, it's not even a Treylon Burks thing. I remember when San Francisco got rid of DeForest Buckner and then they drafted Javon Kinlaw the same year. It's just like, guys, it just does not work typically, man. Like, because you're asking a rookie to have they have now the honor or the target on their back of trying to replace a proven Pro Bowl level player. And I think that is very unfair, not only to the player, but I also think that it's bad business by the team. Because if you think that first round unproven player equals Pro Bowler instantly, then you're not getting your return on investment there just overall, right? And you kind of sacrifice a window a little bit. So I think just the strategy was flawed from the beginning. And I think most teams that try this, it doesn't really, like, for me, it's, if I'm getting rid of a proven player, I need to get a couple different assets to fill in that role, because one player is probably not going to replace A.J. Brown. One player is probably not going to replace DeForest Buckner. Let's get a veteran, maybe lower end option plus a rookie to fill in that option. Like, it just was, I think, bad practice just from the beginning overall, in my opinion. But like, this is just the unfortunate circumstance of you bet on a talent that. And I was okay with them taking him because I was like, Treylon Burks in that draft, like, I understood it. You had a massive need. You didn't figure it out in free agency. Like, you had to figure it out. But I mean, I don't want to be like hindsight is 2020 guy. But I think it was bad practice. And
the guy, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy, and for so many different reasons, right? But back to the question, because now I think we've allowed this YouTube poll to mature a little bit. It's still like 75%, 74% no.
Yep.
On improving his chances to make the team. Honestly, it's yes for me. It has to, because if Treylon Burks was unhealthy, still, that was the easiest way for the Titans to manage the situation. Stash him on PUP, let him continue to rehab, not worry about it, not have to have a distraction, not have to answer questions about him at press conference, not having other teammates. Now Cam Ward's going to be asked about him, Calvin Ridley's going to be asked about him, all these other players going to be asked about Treylon Burks this, Treylon Burks that. DeAndre Hopkins last year said he's one of the most gifted athletes I've ever been around, something along those lines. Sure. And guess what? He got hurt again after not doing much. So it would have been the best get out of jail free card for him to not be healthy and for the Titans to stash him on PUP. But now they have to deal with it. So yes, it helps his chances to make the roster, because if you're just being honest, when you're looking at these room B and room C, because Gabe Davis ain't walking through those doors, and maybe you just change out room A with Gabe Davis for Treylon Burks. Like, there's not really anybody that's that type of body in the wide receiver group. And wide receiver rooms are kind of like basketball teams. You need somebody of all different, body types, heights, weights, sizes, lengths, quickness, and power. Right? They don't have anybody like Treylon Burks. And so, automatically, I think it does improve his chances to make it. I'm still not going to place any type of money on him making the team because he's got an uphill battle. But he's a first-round pick with a guaranteed contract. He's a hard one to cut because you're having to swallow money.
Right. He's a hard one to trade because he hasn't been productive. He's been often injured, right? So like that's also kind of gets a little bit murky. I thought I was going to be the lone, like, yes, it improves his opportunity. Like you've added a lot of bodies into the room. You mentioned Tyler Lockett. You mentioned Van Jefferson. You drafted a couple rookies. Like, you signed Xavier Restrepo as an undrafted free agent. Like, you added 5 new bodies to the room. But here's the overlying question, and some people are going to shake their head and like roll their eyes at this question, but, and I'm not talking about Van Jefferson, his 1 year on with the Los Angeles Rams, that he looked like he was a pretty good player, but is anybody certain, and I'm saying certain, that Van Jefferson, the one that we saw last year with the Steelers, who was one of the most unproductive wide receivers in the NFL last year, despite being a starter, are we positive that Treylon Burks fully healthy? And I know that's a big caveat. Like, I understand that, right? And if he gets hurt, this becomes a moot conversation at that point, right? But are we certain that Van Jefferson is better than Treylon Burks?
Yes.
Oh, you like, no doubt? Like, there's not even a doubt in your mind that Van Jefferson's better? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, are you certain that Treylon Burks fully healthy is are you certain that Xavier Restrepo is better than Treylon Burks? Because in that room B that you showed, right, it was the conversation of like the veteran up top and then the rookies that are going to make, because it's like, Bryce Oliver is going to make it. James Prochet as a special teamer probably has a decent chance of making it. But Xavier Restrepo is the guy that's like on the border of, can he make a roster or can he not? And you don't have much invested into him, right? Like, he's just an undrafted free agent. I know he's got the relationship with Cam and all that type of stuff, but you do have more invested in Treylon Burks from a money capital perspective than you do with Xavier Restrepo, which I just think is an interesting conversation, because you're going to have to eat that money if he's not a guy that you don't want to keep, and he's not going to be playing for you. Obviously.
So you're asking me, do I trust, or do I think that Xavier Restrepo can be better than Burks or more productive than Burks?
Yes. I mean, overall, yeah. Like, to just the back end of a roster.
Look, it's an undrafted free agent to the 18th overall pick from a few years ago. So, like, there's some, like, it's very, like, opposite ends of the spectrum. I would say I would rather go to bat with the guy like Xavier Restrepo than year 4 Treylon Burks coming off of an ACL, right?
Okay. That's fair.
And I think it's Restrepo practices at 100 miles an hour. Well, okay. At 76 miles an hour, as fast as he can possibly go. That's how fast Xavier Restrepo is practicing. So I want that. I think he's got work ethic. Treylon Burks, to me, like, I know Noah commented in the super chat that he shows that he's got the dog. I saw somebody else early on in the conversation saying that Treylon Burks being back right now, having an early return from this injury, shows that he's got something on the line. I agree. That's great. If this is motivating Treylon Burks, then awesome. I've had an opinion on Treylon Burks of just doesn't really love foot. Like, you can love football, but not love football as much as the other guys in that room. And I kind of think that's what Treylon Burks, I think he just has other passions. I think he cares about other things. I don't think he's a gym rat. I don't, which is fine. It just means that you're not going to last as long in the NFL. You can go do other things with your life and have a great life and be cool and be fine. But, like, I just don't think he loves football like a guy like Xavier Restrepo does.
Can you imagine if Treylon Burks, the talent, had Xavier Restrepo's just like mentality?
That's
right? Like
that's the coach's dream,
like,
right?
That really is, man. I mean, it's fascinating though, because again, and someone said, like, do you someone asked me if I'm the type of fan that like lives and dies with every decision that a team makes and supports it. Like, no, not at all. I second guess a lot of people all the time. People actually call me negative in this space a little bit sometimes, because I question a lot of decisions that are made ultimately. Like, I just, again, I saw Van Jefferson play for Pittsburgh last year, and someone said he's more reliable. My guy was not very reliable last year for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but
like,
Treylon Burks, but
good.
when
Fair.
put next to Treylon Burks, Van Jefferson is.
Well, and here's the tricky part about Treylon Burks too. If he is that back end of the depth chart type of guy, right? Like that I'm talking about, like you're fighting with, the Bryce Olivers and the Xavier Restrepo's and like that brand of player. You know what he's going to have to do, Austin, in that role? He's going to have to play special teams. And can he? Will he? I don't know. Like I'm not saying
last summer he was doing that. He was taking some gunner reps. Like so, and somebody says like, Major Key says I'm with you every year. He's had some type of distraction in the off season. Yes, last year it felt like he was putting it together, but something that I never could get past, and I don't know if I ever brought it up though. Like Will Levis took a group of guys to Cabo. Right? Like, and that aged poorly because Will Levis aged poorly as a quarterback. But Will Levis got together with DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Chigakonkwo, and Josh Wiley. Those 5 or 6 guys went to Cabo to work, to throw, run routes, to go to the beach, go on a boat, go golfing, to do all this stuff, right? To bond. Treylon Burks wasn't there.
That's interesting. It's like he wasn't invited
NWI wasn't
type
there.
of thing.
NWI wasn't there. NWI's wife gave birth like 2 weeks before that trip, right? So that makes sense. But Treylon Burks wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why was it like I don't have the answer, but like if I'm Treylon Burks, I'm on that damn trip. Well, optics for the least of it,
Well, you want to talk about optics? Here's the other side of not wanting him back. There is bad juju around him, around his name in like the fan base. I mean, look at the reaction, obviously, right? Like anyone but number 16. We don't want number 16. Like, it's a pretty consistent thing. I mean, I would say, I don't know what the poll is now, but like, people are people. I mean, I would say the majority of people, probably 80+% of Titans fans don't want to see Burks on the field. Like they just don't want to see him, right? Because what does he represent, Austin, right? He represents failure. He represents the previous, like just negativity around this team, the wide receiver room. I do think there's something to be said about clean slate this thing, right? Where it's just like, hey, we're moving on. We're moving forward. We have our new quarterback. We brought in 5 new bodies in that wide receiver room. We brought in a new tight ends. We have a new identity potentially. We have a new general manager. We're in year 2 now of a head coach. Like, let's move on from past failures, right? Like, leave them in the past and let's now move forward. I do think that is something to be said about that,
Yeah, I agree. All right. So, Ermel, if you are a longtime A to Z viewer, you will remember the name Ermel. Ermel has showed up today and asked, where's Zach? Haven't been here in years. And so Zach is doing other things with the business. Ermel, a lot has changed since you've been around. We have expanded our company quite a bit. We're pushing 60 employees countrywide at this point. Ermel comes in and says, I came here to listen how Cam is doing at camp. Can we move on from the Burks combo? No one cares until he performs. Well, people do care because I guarantee we would have a smaller show audience with any other topic today than the one that we chose. Treylon Burks making a surprise appearance at OTAs yesterday coming off an injury. But as far as listen to how Cam is doing in camp, we don't know because we haven't been at practice with Cam and the veterans. We saw one rookie mini camp practice a couple Saturdays ago. But I will tell you, Ermel and others, Easton was supposed to be on the show today. Easton's not on the show today because he's on his secret mission. And Easton's secret mission will help appease the Cam Ward conversation moving forward. And I'm guessing that tomorrow morning we will be talking about Easton's secret mission that he's currently doing right now. 8:44. His secret mission was supposed to start at 8. So he is about done with the activity part of his secret mission. Now he's going to put it all together. And there's an article that should be coming on A2Zsports.com fairly soon after the secret mission is over.
Well, yeah, and you'll get your Ward fix, you'll get your Titans fix, just overall with the mission that he's on, and ultimately, Austin, you know who we're going to be talking about, hopefully for the next 10+ years at nauseum. It's Cam Ward, right? Like we can't just talk about Cam Ward every single day. I mean, we did that. I was on this show when we were doing the pre-draft stuff, and that's all we were talking about was the quarterbacks, the quarterbacks, the quarterbacks.
Yes.
I understand that you want to hear how Cam Ward is doing, but like one, if we don't have availability to see him other than these specific times, there's just nothing to get out of that ultimately, right? I mean, the conversation I guess could have been like projecting rookie numbers. Like, I don't know, man. Like, we're just off there, man.
We could play the Colin Coward video of thinking that Cam Ward's going to take the Titans to the playoffs, which we might do that. Like, we might do that in the next couple of weeks because, look, we've got today, next Wednesday, a couple of days of mandatory minicamp in June, and then that's it for about 6 weeks. And so we do 5 days a week shows. We got to have topics on topics and not just spend every day talking about Cam Ward. There is no Cam Ward update. There will be a Cam Ward update today, and then we'll talk about Cam Ward more for the rest of the week, including Easton's secret mission. Real quick, Chill Mode has a super chat on Burks, and then we'll actually switch topics and go to the next thing. Chill Mode says, do you think Burks cannot get mentally past replacing AJ? I do truly think that Cam thinks he can unlock Burks also. I don't think personally that Treylon Burks has a mental block for AJ Brown, and I don't know if Cam believes he can unlock Burks or not. Like, I know Cam Ward was on Fortnite talking about Treylon Burks being a top 4 receiver in the NFL, but that was like a bit. And Cam Ward understanding the assignment and understanding the bit was funny and very self-aware. But I don't buy either of these things to be like something you can count on or to be accurate.
I think you hope for the best and expect the worst. Like, I think that's the mindset you have to come with these types of things. Like, if somehow Treylon Burks stays healthy and he becomes a solid member of the room and he starts to live up to some of his potential, that's great. But like, are we expecting it at this point? You just have no data to say that that's going to happen. I mean, you said less than 700 yards receiving in his career as a former first round draft pick, right? And a guy that's coming off an injury. So I just don't think that expectation could be there right now just because there's been no sample size to say, hey, I believe in Treylon Burks outside of like maybe some training camp hype that has come or OTA hype in the past. Like, there's just nothing that you can really, there's nothing tangible that you could say, oh, I still believe he did X, Y, and Z. Like, you're still fighting off of hope from what he did at Arkansas his last couple years.
100%. Roy asked, how has Will Levis looked? Once again, we have not seen Will Levis with our own eyes yet. We've only seen the rookies. We have not seen the veterans yet. So we will see, Easton at least, we'll see Will Levis today on the practice field for OTAs. But that honestly leads us to our next conversation here, Ryan. And we'll go ahead and ask you guys, which Titans player do you think will be the biggest OTA smokescreen? Which Titans player do you think will be the biggest OTA smokescreen? We'll do that here in a moment. But first, I want to tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Boneandjointtn.org is where to go to book an appointment. Injuries happen in life, just like they do in football and in sports. And if you have that injury, don't sit on the sideline. Just let that thing ruin and be a massive inconvenience for your life because it gets in the way of work, your social life, your family life, anything and everything. So book an appointment when you need. They have the experts in the Nashville area in Franklin, right off of I-65 and Highway 96 next door to Williams Medical Center. Online, boneandjointtn.org.
Look at A to Z Sports. Apparently, we're setting site records as far as page views here over the last couple of days. So let's set a record on this channel. I want this to be the most liked show in the history of the morning show. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That notification bell is your best friend. Twitchers, me and Easton were talking about this. Like, I don't know if that's what they're called. So Twitchers, make sure to hit that like button as well. If you're on Facebook, like and share the show. 5-star Google reviews after the show and continue to help A to Z Sports grow into the future.
Yeah, I don't think May 28th is going to be the most liked video in our YouTube's history, but
not with that confidence. It won't.
No, you're right. Not with that mentality. Ryan, I'll send you the chat. Which Titans player do you think will be the biggest OTA smoke screen? I think we can remove Treylon Burks from the conversation since we spent the last 38 minutes talking about it.
Sure. Yeah. And smokescreen, obviously, we're defining as guys that are going to show a lot, but we need to be wary of if the hype is real or not, right? Like that's how we're kind of defining it for people. So Curtis says, Will Levis was the first answer here, which actually I think is a very interesting one. We have Xavier Restrepo, Mayo Man, which obviously is a back on a Will Levis one there. Xavier Restrepo from Tall Texan. He doubles down on that one. Steven says Will Levis as well. We have Tavondre Sweat from Mario Williams. So I think, again, we just need to define that a little bit better, potentially. I don't know. We have Treylon Burks. We're Xing him out, but Major Keys also adds in Dan Moore Jr. Easily Levis, says Devin Mills. We have Restrepo again for Big Ten Jeff. We have
Restrepo is an absolute candidate because he is the guy that looks great without pads. What happens when the pads come on?
Exactly. Right? Yep. Pads get on, windows get a little bit smaller, man coverage. Like that's a little bit of the question there. Chris Jump says Tyler Lockett. We had Will Levis, Xavier Restrepo, and then they threw in Treylon Burks there from Patrick Bird. We have Will Levis again. There's a lot of Will Levis in the chat. Billy Sullivan also says it.
That's a good one.
Okay. Garrett.
Femi. People are going to be amazed by his physical tools until they start playing real football and his technique lacks. And that might not be a hating on Femi Oladejo. I think that could be just the truth about where he's at in his development into a new position.
Well, it's funny because I have a list obviously prepared of players that I wanted to bring up this. And I mean, if we could jump into it, I guess, because I think that's a perfect segue. I have Femi Oladejo on this list of the 5 players that I've written down.
Okay.
And why? This isn't a Femi's going to look great in camp and then he's going to stink. This is that kid looks so physically impressive that people are Tennessee Titans fans want pass rushers so bad right now. They're going to see that kid move around, former linebacker, incredible athlete, and they're going to say, that's our 10 sack guy this year. That's him. That's a double-digit sack guy. And then I think when real games start, we're going to come back to reality, as they kind of mentioned there, that like, hey, Femi's future is very bright, but I think he's much more of a long-term investment than a short-term guy. Like, I don't expect him to be a defensive rookie of the year candidate. I don't expect him to be a 10-sack guy as a rookie. I expect him to be a year 2 breakout, a year 3 difference maker, potentially, if the developmental track is worth there. So if we're talking about smoke screens, guys that maybe get excited expectations a little bit too high based upon what they do in these practice settings, I think Femi will just set us up a little bit too high compared to what his year 1 return is going to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's like his fault. I think it's just that he will splash on social media and people will get overly excited and it won't live up to the expectations that are unfair to the player. I think that's a totally fair way to do it. All right, I have limited time, so no trivia. We're gonna have to abruptly switch that, but I do want to hear your entire list. So you have 5 people on your list that fit this smoke screen criteria. Femi's one of them. Who are the other 4?
Will Levis is another. Levis quarterback. Yes, and I think that's the one you want, though, if you're a Titans fan, right? You're like, hey, make him look great, get a lot of buzz out there, and then hopefully you're able to offload him for something. Like that is the ideal scenario for Will Levis. He is number 2. I have Van Jefferson at number 3 because he's veteran, sleek, he's smooth. I think that he's going to have some flash in these settings that you're going to kind of like be like, oh, maybe he can be a good wide receiver 3 in this offense. Like maybe he can be. And then ultimately, I just think that he might set himself up for failure. Like he'll still make the team more than likely. He'll probably be a part of the room. But like, will he be a guy that you can depend on every Sunday? Like I have my question marks there. So he's number 3.
Okay.
DK, Jimmy DK, the wide receiver, the rookie. I think he's one because he was drafted before Alec Iomanor, excuse me. That kid is super fast. He's going to have some plays where you just see that speed, maybe more in like the 7-on-7 type of settings. And you're going to be like, oh, there's our difference-making deep play threat. Like, that's him.
There's the deep ball guy. Deep threat.
And then he's going to catch like 15 catches for like 300-something yards. And you're going to be like, oh, man, I thought that guy was going to be legit.
That's more than I thought, than I think he'll do. So he is a great candidate for this.
Yeah. Special teamer. developmental wide receiver. Let's not
Yeah.
make him too much. And then my last guy is in the linebacker room. Somebody needs to start opposite Cody Barton. There's going to be a little bit of battle there. I have Cedric Gray from North Carolina as my other guy. Physically, dude looks like $1 million, man. Like, he looks the part. But I actually was I viewed as a Cedric Gray hater when he was coming out of his draft, because I thought his eyes were horrible, to be honest. Like, I don't think that he processes very well. I don't think he sees the game incredibly instinctual. I just think he's more athlete than he is football player. But moving around in space, seeing him run, playing in pursuit, some people I think will look at Cedric Gray and be like, oh man, year 2 breakout next to Cody Barton.
I think all 5 of those people on that list are very deserving of being on that list, and are very realistic of guys that can get overhyped by not their fault, but just by ways they will flash through limited exposure throughout the summer. I do think another guy on here, Tyjae Spears, is somebody Johnny brings up. Always a candidate for summer camp hype. Agree, and especially with him being healthy and not having concussion issues and looking quick, twitchy, everything. Yes, I think Tyjae will be one of those guys as well. And so people are booing me for no trivia. Sorry, guys. That's just how it's going to have to be when the schedule doesn't line up the way you wanted it to. I was supposed to be off today. So
true. That's true. That's very true.
I was supposed to be off this morning because I have people in my house right now trying to start cleaning, and I have to get going. And Easton is on his special mission, secret mission, which is why no trivia. So if you want to blame somebody, blame Easton, but his secret mission is going to be interesting. And so you're going to want to check that out, but make sure that you also make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process. So go see them in Lebanon, or also hit them up online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Quick wrap up to the show, but appreciate all you guys being here. Make sure you hit the like button, like the show. And we will see you guys tomorrow reacting to Easton's secret mission. So we'll see you guys later on. Appreciate it as always.